Okay, here we go, solving quads using the quadratic formula. And I know what you're saying or thinking. What? Can't we just get on Desmos? And yeah, most of the time we can, but sometimes Desmos is going to disappoint us. So when I put in 5x squared minus 12x plus 3, this is what I got. I put that on your notes so you could see. But I think I'm going to head over to Desmos real quick so you can see that if I hover over these points, 2.11652. 0.28348. And you're like, well, that's okay, Miss Overbeat. We'll just write this down. But no, these decimals are just an approximation. Those decimals really go on and on and on and on. And that's not okay. We need an exact answer. So we've got another thing to learn when solving for quadratics. I apologize, but we're going to do it. So we have to turn to something else, and that is the quadratic formula. And this is where I'm going to tell you, I usually have my students memorize it, but we're going to go ahead and make sure you always have this formula available to you. But I'm going to sing the song anyways, because this is how I remember it. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So there you go. If you ever have to memorize it, there's the song. All right, it looks like a lot of work, doesn't it? So let's go through this together. It's not going to be that bad. So we're going to be given this quadratic. We could try Desmos and we realize, oh no, it's not going to work. And so we've got to use this formula. And we start noticing, well, wait a minute, weird, but what B, A, C, I don't see any of those letters in my quadratic. So let's stop and start there, all right? Let's get rid of what I just did. All right, so let's start. Yeah, I love that avocado green. I'm not sure why. Probably because it was, around in the 1970s when it was a really good color. All right, so here we go. A is simply the first number we see. The A is just the number that is in front of our x squared. That's our A. The B is going to be the number that's in front of our x, the number that comes next. Now see, that's not 12, that's negative 12. So that is our next number. And then C is our constant. The one that doesn't have any letters by it, doesn't have any x, that's our C. So there we go. And now it is simply going to be plug-in and chug-in. Let's make this a little bit thinner so we can write. So the formula says negative b. So the negative is part of it, okay? The b, I'm just going to see how our b is also negative. That's okay. I'm going to plug that right in there. Now don't forget, we have our calculator we can use. All right, the next part is plus or minus, that's there, square root, that's there. All right, b squared, man, b is a star right now, right? So I'm going to put my negative 12 in the parentheses. Because when I plug in things, you know I'm going to be using parentheses. I see the minus 4, that's already there. So the next thing that comes up is a. Our a is 5, so I'll put that there. And then the next thing is c, and c is 3, so I'll put that there. So we're just plugging in numbers. And then the bottom, it's 2 times a, so my 2 is already there, and I put an a. So this little template here, it's here to just help us get used to plugging things in. Eventually, we want to just be able to use the formula and know what to put in. But in the beginning, this is nice. All right, so let's start simplifying this. And let's bring in a turquoise to do that. All right, here we go. So minus a negative 12, that is just plain old 12. If you want to put minus a negative 12 in your calculator, you'll get 12. The next thing we want to do is see all of this right here, this mess? We want to put it in our calculator. We do not want to put the square root button on. We just want to say, hey, what is this number? And we'll tuck it back in safely into underneath the square root sign. So I have to have a calculator because I don't know what this is. So we're going to do the negative 12 squared in our calculator, and then we are going to subtract, what is that, 20 times 3 is 60, and that number is 84. So we're going to put the 84 there. All right, and then, oh, look what I did. Were you all saying, Miss Overbeat? I wrote an A down there. A is 3. Why would I write an A? Whew. This talking and writing at the same time. I make mistakes that way. All right, so 2 times 3 is 6. All right, now we're going to stop because we see right here, they're expecting us to come up with an answer, right? So this is what we're going to do. We are going to be clever. We see that we have a plus minus here, and there's no plus minus button on our calculator. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this whole thing, but instead of a plus minus, we're going to put a plus in first. All right, so how are we going to do this? We're going to hit the fraction button. We know where that is. We use that well. On the top, we're going to put a 12. Then we're going to hit a plus. Okay. Then we're going to hit second x squared to pull up that square root. Then we're going to put an 84 in. Then we're going to hop down and we're going to put a 6 there. Right? Now we're going to hit enter. So hopefully you're following along in your calculator. If not, pause it, back it up, go get your calculator. And when I hit enter, I get square root of 21 plus 6 over 3. That's one of my answers. So x equals, whoops, I'm in yellow. Can you see that? So x equals square root of 21 plus 6 over 3. But that's not all. So now I have to come back. See how I chose the plus? Now I have to come back and choose to put a negative there. Now there's a shortcut here. You could just go ahead and put it back in, or you could scroll up and over and highlight the 12 plus square root of 84 over 6, hit enter, and look what it does. It copies it. Then scroll back and just get up there in the, get up there and change that plus to a minus, then hit enter, and there you go. There's our other, once again, I'm in the yellow, aren't I? Okay, and there's our other answer, x equals negative square root of 21 plus 6 over 3. All right, now remember when we started this and we had a decimal, Desmos gave us a decimal. I know this looks weird. I know these two numbers don't look better than a decimal, but these are exact numbers, and we'll be able to appreciate that more when we get into the higher math. All right? All right, before you leave, I want you to know something. Sometimes we might see something like this. This is not in your notes. Wonder if you see y equals 4x squared minus 8. Okay? And you're going a equals 4, right? B equals, and then you stop. It's like, there's no B, because C is always our constant. So that would be negative 8. If there's not a B, you just put 0. All right. Same thing if you see something like 7x squared plus 3x, and that's all you get. It's still a quadratic. A would equal 7, B would equal 3, and guess what? No constant, no number at the end. That means C equals 0. All right. You know what I'm going to say. Practice, practice, practice. Thanks for joining me.